I stole a hooded raincoat, found rubber boots that didn't fit, stowed my micro-corg and buckled the case shut. Went up on my toes to hug Gabe in the tent-covered mudroom, thanked him for everything, and he said, "See you in Norwich." He was wet and sweaty, furnace warm against my cheek, but he would never make it to Norwich. The next time anyone took a good look at my sweet friend Gabe, he would be cold to the touch, blue in the face, flat on his back and done breathing forever alongside Kev and a pair of handsome high-rigger stagehands everyone called the Mario Brothers. All four of them overdosed on C-3PO in the back of a utility trailer. I went out in the rain with my instrument case over my head, a cartoon ant carrying a Kit Kat home from a really shitty picnic. Looked over my shoulder for photographers, ducked between ranks of chattering generators, held my case tight against my chest, and sidestepped through a muddy maze of vandalized portable toilets faced door to door in double rows to prevent entry. At the heart of this unicursal labyrinth stood a wheelchair-accessible unit, damaged by fire, tagged up one side with the name TARDIS. On the first day of the festival, I came creeping around back here looking for a private place to sneak a smoke. The melted front panel of the TARDIS curved inward, a baby blue plastic wave big enough for me to wriggle sideways and squeeze through the deformed door. I stepped inside and stretched my arms until my fingertips quivered. Took 10 deep breaths of corrupted air and tasted a signature clash of chemical disinfectant and diesel exhaust striped with a high note of human waste warmed by the summer sun. I shut off my phone, and for the first time in a long time I was untraceable. Truly alone. That night I returned with a roll of trash bags, a canister of chlorine wipes, and some scented candles pilfered from Brady's coach. I sacked the toilet pedestal and trapped the nasty miasma brewing below. Double-bagged the seat to make it safe for sitting, sanitized the handrails and the fold-down baby changing table, stashed a few packs of Marlboros and a backup lighter inside the soap dispenser housing. Thoughtfully appointed and thoroughly equipped, the TARDIS would serve as a discreet and comfortable hideaway for the duration of the Beauregard Festival. Pre-scandal, I avoided Brady's bus until sundown, but it was impossible for me to kill those daylight hours aboard the mildewed six-sleeper trailer I shared with Vincent and two supporting acts, the comedian Dayglow Dave and a Norwegian death metal band called Sarah Jessica Dracula. Even if I possessed enough humanity and grace to forgive that creepy panda-faced trio for fouling the bathroom daily with black and white corpse paint, I could never tolerate Vincent and his dried-out disciples comparing triggers, working the steps, chanting affirmations, and hatching grand plans to make amends. The whole place reeked like wet dog, old car floor mats, and discount cigarettes, and it was worse than the cots and tents we were offered in Cologne. We're all walking unique paths through this world, but if yours should ever diverge to present you with a choice between sitting alone in a stifling portable toilet that's been targeted by arson, or hanging out in an air-conditioned trailer while your ex and a half-dozen roadies in recovery debate the individual concept of a higher power, do not hesitate to pick the toilet. Fucking trust me. I lost 4 long afternoons hiding out in the TARDIS doing Sudoku, tying knots, texting Melanie, and struggling to follow a crash course curriculum of Zen meditation taught by Dayglow Dave. The road flare that penetrated the TARDIS pulled its white plastic roof downward in a stringy taffy stalactite and burned a shoe-sized hole in the floor like a corrosive drop of blood in that movie Alien. Each day when the sun climbed high enough, I stubbed out my post-meridian smoke, drew dozens of deep breaths, cracked one eye open, and tracked a warm spot of light creeping down the wall of the TARDIS. When that ragged patch of gold flattened out on the changing table, I gave it my full focus, concentrated on the percussive tempo of the generators, and did my best to follow Dave's instructions. He suspected everything was getting to me because my filter was way too tight. Said I'd lowered my spirit, degraded its potential as a vessel, and now it was a gutter collecting nothing but poison. Dave coached me to elevate my sacred center, told me to imagine a frameless scene of short green grass under wide blue skies and visualize my anger as clouds approaching from a distance. "You just let those clouds come," he said. "Let them come, allow them to be, and let them go." So I tried, all right. I committed myself to doing some heavy spiritual lifting in the confines of that stinky safe space, and I really fucking tried. The first image I found in my mind's blue sky was a close-up of my hands, broken nails sunk to the quick in bloody skin. Fingers wrapped tight like Turk's head knots around the soapy throats of those Norwegian freaks for clogging the sink and shower with a wig's worth of stray blonde hairs. There were other times when Dave's simple tips actually worked. I would come up for air like something newborn to find I'd lost track of 2 hours and my blaze of light had crawled off the changing table, floated to the far side of the filthy toilet floor. Those were the days when I saw the Lotus unfold, open up and show it slip just a little bit, and I walked away from the TARDIS feeling a hint of the serenity Dave described. Those moments made me less of a doubter, a little more of a believer, and if you were there, if you'd been me, then you'd know for sure, and I wouldn't have to say this shit out loud, and none of it would sound like the snake oil wellness bullshit Gwyneth Paltrow sells by the pound, okay? Okay. A crackling canopy of fireworks smeared sulfur color across the wet sky, signaling the end of the Beauregard Festival. I shoved myself through the slick concavity and entered the TARDIS for the last time, dragged my microcord through the gap in the door behind me and threw it on the changing table, lit my vanilla candle and sat down to cry under the boiling roar of the rain.